someone that is propelling himself into the foreground in a lot of spheres is Blueface, who also dropped his debut EP Dirtbag. And uh, Dave, give me a little background on Blueface because you've been standing him a little bit this year, and I don't know if I can do it justice.
We talked about him a fair amount with XXL. He obviously made it this year, which made a lot of sense because, of course, Tatiana, massive, a viral hit this year that actually came out at the end of last year. And on top of that, Blueface is a really charismatic, funny guy. He likes to play into the memes and the bits and stuff. So he's kind of kept himself in the sphere as Tatiana has begun to crest. And that's, I believe it peaked in the top 10, but obviously it's way down now. The moment it has since passed and the remix has stopped. But along the way, we had a Cardi B remix, YG remix, and Blueface was doing a lot of smart tactical features along the way. The West Coast song with G-Eazy did really well. And he had a few other hits right before Tatiana, like Dead Lokes and Studio. And it seems like he was going to be, a West Coast, I don't want to say a superstar, but certainly a face in West Coast rap. And I still think that's the case. But this Dirtbag EP definitely underwhelmed me because it's not his first project. He did have 2 tapes last year. That's where Tatiana's from and those other hits. But his first, release this year. And I just think the issue with Blueface is that he's kind of acknowledged this too online, is that he doesn't try that hard. And he's certainly not alone in the contemporary rap scene in that regard. But he has some flows that can sound very repetitive when he does them 4 times in a row. And even though that flow, the offbeat flow, he's kind of gotten a lot of notoriety for. I usually don't mind it, but when I hear it song after song, it's like, come on, guys, this is a little much. And I thought in particular, the very last track with, or second last track with Mozzie, releasing a Moz feature Gang, which is clearly just trying to replicate what Studio is doing, but that's just an auto-tune mess. That song's bad. So I think there's some like decent moments, but in terms of, the brief Blueface catalog we have right now, I think this is the least essential of his releases so far. What did you think as someone who's way less invested than me?
Yeah, I thought a lot of the lyrics on this were just straight up bad. The not really trying very hard definitely comes through. On Bleed It, gotta keep a technical in case a person hacking, and then never let the beef get cold. Where the meat at?
No, the best bars he ever had though was on Stop Capping. How can I be slipping when I'm the one doing the mopping? Fucking bus down, or you take the bus down. Now we're bus downs. I mean, yeah, can't say any better than that.
Woo, fire! Singed my eyebrows off with those. Yeah, I mean the one thing I will say is he brings energy to his songs, and he has some pretty big collaborations on this. Yeah. Offset and Rich the Kid. I thought both turned in pretty good performances. It's not the worst thing I listened to this year. We just talked about Social House, which I definitely would say is worse than this, but I don't get the Blueface hype at all after listening to this. That Tatiana's pretty good, but after that,
yeah. The thing is, I think Bleed It, which came out back in January, it's the oldest song on this. I think Bleed It is perhaps the best Blueface song. That's just the best in terms of just him competently rapping. And it was on beat rapping at that. I think that was one of the first times people were like, oh, Blueface, there's a little more going on with him. So I'm still like in on Blueface as a rapper. But yeah, this felt a little rushed, a little just kind of superfluous. And funny enough, I mean, the cover is really bad, and the album cover, EP cover. And if you look at it, it says Blueface, and there's a space between the E and the F. Blueface is one word, but it looks like on his own EP cover, his own name is misspelled, which just kind of fits the brand, if we're being honest. And along that brand, just being a meme, being someone who doesn't take anything that seriously, him collaborating with Lil Pump makes a lot of sense. And I actually thought that song was pretty funny. But yeah, overall, I was underwhelmed. So I'll wait for
Yeah.
the.
That also, just reading some reviews online, I think that seems to be the general consensus. Is a lot of people just feel a bit disappointed by this. Hopefully, his next project's a little more well refined,
Right.
spends a little bit more time with the pen.